Hey, chicks, let's chat. So listen, I believe that overall we have a very generous spirit. I think as a culture, we are very giving. And sometimes we can be given to a fault. Anybody can fall victim to this, just being guilty to a fault just because you have a kind, sweet nature, just because you hate to see others, go without, just because, you hate to see someone have less than what you have, just overall. And then you add to it that we're women, for the women of our culture, we fall victim to that often more times than others, because as natural nurturers, it really pains us sometimes to see others not doing well, right? And I myself have fallen victim to that, because I have a soft spot for children, right? So it has been many a times that I have gone out my way to do something for a child or for a family, and I just, maybe I didn't even have it to do it. It was times that I had to solicit help to do what I wanted to do, right? And that's just, I think that's just the nature of us as people, there's just so many different occasions that I was once in a Head Start teacher, and there was a little girl. She wasn't even in my class, and I just took to her, and when I took to her, I realized that she was a child of a single mom. Mom had other kids in the house. So, I just was like, and it was the craziest thing that really made me take to her, right? Because I was raised to not ask people for money, right? So, a lot of times when you raise a certain way, you assume that other people raise the same way. So, when this little girl not even in my class, and she asked me for $1, instantly I'm like, who was her mama? Because what she doing asking people for money? Ain't nobody told her not to do that. So I just took to her from then. Like, I was just like, nah, who is she? So I got to know her mom, and I was like, well, hey, I would love to, take her somewhere on the weekend or something like that. Mom did not have no problem with that, and even to the point I had told my dad, I was like, hey, listen, I wanna basically do something for this little girl for Christmas, and Lord knows I didn't have the bread at that time to do it, because I was already tight. I was a Head Start teacher, and that was years ago, so I wasn't making no money to be saying I want to cover Christmas for somebody, so he was like, okay, we'll find out the sizes and everything they need, boom, boom, and we'll take care of that. And we did, right? So I ain't talking about what I heard, I'm talking about what I know. I know that there are times when we will go out of our way to do things for people when we don't even have the means to do it. Sometimes we may have to get something from somebody else to do it, just to help who we want to help, because that's just the nature of who we are as people sometimes, right? Some people, because everybody don't have that in them. Some people ain't getting you a quarter, Jack, you know what I'm saying? And hey, that's on them, however they move. I'm not saying one is right over the other, but I do believe we are called to do things for people, but I do believe that is within reason. And a lot of times when our emotions are driving, we not operating out of reason, right? So the fact is that we can help people to our hurt, Number one. Because helping them then put us in a bad situation. Now, do I believe that God gonna come back and bless you for that? Yeah, but in the meantime, you might have to take that L. You may have to go without or whatever for that time period, because you did something kind of out of season or out of turn. You did something, you know, that you really weren't financially able to do or whatever, right? So yeah, on the back end, he gonna come and do his thing, but in that moment, you might have to deal with the lack or whatever, right? But also, we will do things to our hurt, but the reality is that sometimes you do things out of helping, but it really is hurting the other person. We would do things to the detriment of other people, but we think we're doing a good deed, a solid, helping, giving, nurturing, providing, charity. That's what we think we're doing. But in actuality, it's hindering, handicapping, allowing other people to continue to be leeches. It's putting them in a bad situation where they become dependent upon you and your help. And I see a lot of moms do that. I see a lot of moms and I see a lot of grandmothers do that in our culture. Yes, we do it. Yes, I've seen it. A lot of moms will help their kids to a fault. You would know that your daughter or your son is not showing up in life in the way that they're supposed to be showing up. They're not giving their best effort. And you will continue to pour funds their way. You will continue to do this, continue to do that. And guess what? They continue to be bums too. And I say that with love, out of lack of a better term, because when you ain't doing nothing with your life, I don't know what else to call you. Especially when you're getting from people who are doing things with their life. You're taking from someone who has made sacrifices to be productive and you know, maybe even prosperous in their life, and you're doing absolutely nothing but soaking it up. I don't know what else to call you. But the mama and the grandma probably call you their baby. That's what they call you. But the reality is that you're taking everything you could get from those people. And the reality also is that they're allowing you to, they're giving it to you. So are you wrong for taking it when they keep giving it to you? And a lot of times, parents and grandparents, they overgive and overindulge those kids who are not productive. They overdo it out of guilt. They overgive and overindulge those kids out of guilt because either they picked the wrong parent for that kid, so they never had a dad or a mom, or because they had to work so much and do so much, they didn't, you know, have enough time to spend with the child, so they blamed themselves for not being able to, you know, be there, and, you know, things was happening with their kids that they didn't catch because they was always on their second or third job. So they carry a lot of guilt, right? And sometimes they were good parents, but they just wasn't, they're just not secure in the fact that they did the best that they could, right? They're not secure in that because of the way the child turned out. And I don't think that, no way, every time a child does not turn out to be productive, that is not always the parent's fault. It's not. It's not. And some of y'all are walking around here right now with guilt when it wasn't even, you know, your fault. You did the very best that you could do. Now, some of y'all, it is absolutely y'all fault. Y'all was garbage parents. You didn't show up. You was always gone. You was just throwing money at the problems when the kid needed you to throw time and emotion at the problem. Some of y'all, it's y'all fault. Yes, I ain't giving no passes when it comes to that. Some of y'all is a line where no, you did what you could do. You were the best that you could. You weren't trying to live a street life and take care of your kids. You weren't trying to be on every scene and still take care of your kids. You were there as much as you could be outside of providing and working. You did the best you could, and they just did not turn out the way, you know, in the way you did not get the return on the investment. That happens. That happens. So, no, don't let go of that guilt when you know you did the very best that you could. Own it when you didn't do the best that you could. Own that. And still stop letting that guilt lead you into just throwing resources, throwing this, throwing that at that adult child, because you're still not helping them. Even if you were a garbage parent, at the point where they're grown, you just throwing resources after resources at them, and they just soaking it up, and you don't see where they're putting forth any effort to do better. You still not helping them. You got to deal with your guilt, acknowledge it. Hey, I should have did better. I didn't do, but guess what? Them coins stop today. Me being an ATM, me being a bank teller, it stops today. It stops. Now, I'm not talking about, you know, everybody come up short and need a little, hey, auntie, grandma, sister, cousin, brother, let me get this to. I ain't talking about that. I ain't talking about that. That's like, I feel like that's all right. You get somebody a little something to whenever, they good for it, get it back. Okay, cool, that's life. You know, hey, one hand washes another. You know, like, that's cool. But I'm talking about the situations where literally you're suffering. You going without sometimes trying to help this person, even if they're not your kid. They could be your best friend. Because let me tell you something. You got people out here who, when they know that they have a person in their life that's a giver, let me tell you something. Them jokers will take clean advantage of it. They don't have to be blood related to you. Those people you got to stop looking out for too. When what you're doing for them is not helping them get better. I'm not saying when you do something for them and boom, they take it and they run with it and they make the most of it, and had you not done it, they wouldn't have been able to do it. I ain't talking about that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you and everybody else can clearly see that what you're doing is like you just throwing money into the ocean or something. Like, it's just, no matter how much you do or what you do, it's always an excuse why this, that, or the third didn't work, why they didn't get up and go do the interview, why they can't stay on the job. It's always something. Your help is not helping. And a lot of times we have kept listen, it's a lot of grandmas that kept their kids going, living, surviving, by looking out for them kids, looking out for them grown kids, even when those grown kids had kids. Now those grandkids sitting there looking at their grandparents like, why you keep throwing money to daddy or mama? Like, they're using you. The grown kids even can see it. The grown grandkids even can see at this point that you're not helping them. But out of guilt, out of just not knowing any better, sometimes thinking that this is a parent, this is what I'm supposed to do, I ain't gonna let my baby okay, well then you gonna die, and they're gonna still be who they are, just looking for the next person to do what you've been doing for them. And maybe they will find somebody else to do it, maybe they won't. And maybe they'll just have to figure it out and just always be missing their mama or missing their dad, whoever was doing it for them. A lot of times it's the mamas, because guess what? The daddies be like, hey, Joker, You on your own. Yeah, I know I wasn't never there for you. I ain't never did nothing for you, but you grown now. I ain't raised you anyways. You was with your mama. I wasn't never around you. You know, we say a lot of ignorant stuff like that. Our folk. And I heard it. But yes, it is a lot of times it's the females that will keep some foolishness going on, you know, out of hurt, out of guilt, out of just not knowing that, hey, at a certain point, I've done all that I can do, and for me to continue helping you hurts me. And even if it don't hurt me because I got it and I could do it, it still hurts you because I keep doing it. It never allows you to get on your feet and to become a productive citizen. As long as you know you got me. So let me just, you know, I'm gonna end on that. I ain't gonna take up all y'all time, but if you know somebody who fits this description, send this video to them. If you are that person, you're not gonna change overnight because you've been doing it for years. You've been doing this for years. But think about it. Are your efforts really benefiting the people that you just keep pouring your resources into? Even sometimes it's just conversation. I had to get to the point where, baby, after I done talked to you a few times about this, you done came to me a few times about this same sorry joker, we ain't finna keep talking about him. At some point, I can't keep casting my pearls to the swine. I can't keep doing it. I'm sorry, but you have to learn that, because you just being you know, you just operate in your healing, in your trying to make things better. You just operating under that. You would keep on doing it, because you want to see that person come out of that bad situation so bad. You will just keep doing. And listen, that ain't the answer. Sometimes the answer is just, you know what? I done did all I could do. Now all I could do is pray for you. Now all I could do is direct you to another direction. Because I've done my part. I've done more than my part. Right? And, you know, like they say, when you a giver, you have to set limitations. Because takers don't have none. Takers don't have limitations. They're going to keep taking every single thing you can offer them. So, yeah, like I said, if this is anything that, you know, y'all can relate to, I just don't see how you can be in the black community and don't know nobody who, and don't know nobody that, this can relate to. Yeah, because it happens far too frequent. It happens. So hopefully, you know, you won't become one of those people who are just, you know, giving, you know, in a way that you give so much that you don't even have it anymore. You know, and that happens a lot. Well, people give so much, they give themselves to the grave, to now they poor, now they broke, now they house mortgage so many times. You know, now they got to keep getting new cars, etc., so forth, because they keep giving every single thing to people who still not progressing. At some point, there has to be a meter, a mark, something that's saying, hey, what I'm doing is working. My giving has not been in vain. And when you ain't seeing that, you really have to, you really have to check yourself, you know, with whether or not what you're doing, you know, you should keep doing it. So yeah, y'all enjoy your day on that note.